in this exercise we will be processing the data. Now for processing the data which is arriving is in the XML format. Now for processing the data you need NS XML parser. So we need to create NS, so I'll say parser, NS XML parser, and NS XML parser will confirm, you need to confirm NS XML parser delegate, because there will be some interrupts. It's a event based XML parser, so which will be giving you various event. Now before we start writing, we just have to analyze. Now XML parser will start reading every bit of character in this XML document. Now we don't want to capture all of this data. We need to capture only data which is coming in tip description, user email and username, right? Rest all the data we have to ignore. So we need to have a flag which will indicate us when to capture data and when not to capture the data. So that we need a boolean variable to tell us when to capture data and when not to capture the data. So we need a boolean variable. Now each data is in string, so you don't know how much length of data will come, how many string data will be there. So you cannot create a static string. Okay, you need to create a mutable string which we can capture the data whenever we need. We can reset the string to capture the new data. So we need to create another variable which is a variable string called captured string. So we need to create, and we'll create one function which will do the processing part. The process terror safety tips. I'll be using shorthand notation, say data, which takes NS data as the input. Now, so for processing, I'll be first creating a parser. I'll say parser equal to NS XML parser. The constructor, there is a data, so we'll pass the data. You will tell parser delegate to itself, so that you can implement all its callback for all the various callback which parser will send you across, and then you will say parser dot parse. This function will start your parsing process. Now there are plenty of callbacks because NS XML parser delegate is an optional, or it's an informal protocol. It has plenty of callbacks, but we need a callback when a document starts. We need a callback when document ends. We need a callback when start tag comes, that did start element. We need a callback when end tag arrives, that's called did end document. We need a callback whenever it reads the characters, and we need a callback when a parse error occurs. So these are the fixed minimum callbacks which we need to implement to process the XML. There are plenty more XML callbacks which we can ignore at this point of time, and which can be used whenever you have uh, need arrives. So I'll go inside the NS XML parser delegate. It's an informal protocol, so I'll implement did start document because I need this callback. I'll also need to implement did end document. I need to implement did start element which indicates start of the tag. I need to implement did end element which indicate end of the tag. I need to implement found characters which will be called whenever he captures some characters, and I need to implement pass error occur for error handling. So all these 6 methods I'll copy and I'll implement in my soap tip parser. So I'm ready with my processing infrastructure. Now when connection did finish loading occurs, I'll comment this and I'll say I need to process. So I call process terror safety tips and I'll pass the web data. Now the control from here will go to here, and it will start processing, and the interrupts will start getting called. So in the next exercise, we'll be implementing all these 6 interrupts, which will lead to the completion of step 2.0.